What's up, everyone? It is your girl, Gelbeauty-QM here, aka Grace, and it's time to talk about the best palettes I've tried so far in 2024. So I filmed all the other videos. This is literally the last one I had to film, but I knew this was the one that's going to take me the longest time to do. So here we are finally getting around to it. So without further ado, let's get into it. But if you like dupe videos, I'm currently doing a 4 looks 4 palettes. That's one of the eye looks I have on my eyes right now. If you love new makeup releases, I do those every week. If you love a good complexion review, I do those, and I also do fragrance. So if you're interested in that type of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Now let's get into the video, girl. So I'm gonna start off with the Fenty Cosmetics Cradle and Ice palette. Now I usually love their palettes and are very into them. I like just about every color story they have. I think I only don't own 2. I think it's the Fighter. Matter of fact, it's only one I don't own. It is the Fighter. I even bought the Bar, and even though I'm not really into those type of color stories, just because I feel like they have great quality products and give you great color stories. So this one is definitely up my alley. I get my nice mauves when it comes to the neutrals, and then I get blues. I love the way this color story was done because it's set up to where if you're not good with makeup or if you don't have creative ideas for your looks, you can cover it up and have like a 6-pan of neutrals, or you can have a 6-pan of monochromatic blues, or you can just go across the palette and go all through the palette like I do and just use it everywhere. So the quality on the Fenty Cosmetics eyeshadows is really nice. I think they do a great job when it comes to color stories, and their formulas are really nice. I know some formulas people say are better than other ones. I haven't personally had any bad experience with any of the formulas. That's just my personal opinion. But I heard some people talking about they didn't like the Warlock palette. I personally liked it, just like I like all the other ones. I feel like the formula is pretty consistent across the board. I haven't had a personal bad experience with them. So if you're interested in purchasing from this brand, my girl, of course, Karen Harris, has the code, so you can use code CAGEMAKeup to get a discount on your purchase from Fenty Cosmetics. I have one more Fenty Cosmetics palette, so let's just get her out the way real quick and cute, right? So that would be the Wizards palette. So I love blue eyeshadows. I felt like, however, though, like both these releases were kind of like too close together in my personal opinion, because I'm like, this one came out before the one I just showed you, and as you can see, this is quite blue heavy as well. I actually did a video comparing this one to that one a while ago. If you're interested, I'll try to pop the thumbnail up here, because I did that one compared to this one just to see how the blues would perform, because you know they say sometimes blues are difficult to make depending on what like undertone and all those types of things. So I compared this one to that one to give you all an idea, and I did a video for this palette on its own and the other one on its own, so I should hopefully have all those thumbnails popping up for you to see what I'm talking about. But I like this one a little bit better than I like that one, just because I like the uniqueness of the yellow in it, because I haven't seen anybody put like yellow and blue together in this sort of format. So I was kind of impressed with this one just a little bit more. I do like both of them equally though, or else they both wouldn't be in here. It's just if I had to pick between the two, I would pick the Wizard palette first, and I'm glad she put this one first, because I'd have probably regretted buying that one had I not, you know, had this one came out after the fact. But I'll take both of them. The only thing I will say is I prefer palettes that have shades you can pop out. Now I don't know if you can pop the shades out in these or not. I feel like you can't. I haven't tried because I wouldn't want to like damage any of these shadows in here, but that is just something to think about. If you're a person like me who likes to create your own palettes and move them around, you're not going to be able to move the shadows in there. So just something to think about. So the next one I have to talk about are collab palettes. So of course y'all know Miss Tina the Fancy Face was going to be up in here, so I have her and Annette's palette. So we have the Mighty Monsters and the Earthwood above the first two I came out with. So this was their second go round with Wuten's Eye. So they had their second go round just like Angelica Nikovic had her second go round. So this is Mighty Monsters from Annette. I never thought I'd see the day where Annette's makeup corner had like neutrals in her palette, but as you can see, like this first top row is just neutrals. I was just as shocked. I was just so shocked. She said she was shocked about having neutrals in her palette as well though, but I feel like hers is pretty easy to look at. You just go across and pick a shadow from each row. So if you love Annette's makeup corner and you love the color story of these palettes, you should definitely check out her palette. I feel like her code is just Annette. Don't quote me though, but since it's her collab, I always try to like push the collaborators like code if I know they have one, which I'm assuming they do, or else they wouldn't be collabing with the brand. So you can use code Annette to get a discount on her palette if you're interested in purchasing. Now I love the artwork on Tina's palette. I love it just as much as I loved her first artwork. As you can see, I have both of them in the background. But this is what it looks like on the inside. Now I heard people saying they felt like it was a little difficult to maneuver through her palette because she didn't have it set up the way Annette did, with an easy like way to look at the color story. I don't feel like it's that difficult personally. I feel like you can use like the 6 at the top, or the 6 at the bottom, kind of like, you know, to make an eye look. In my personal opinion, that's what I did with it, and I feel like my eye looks turned out just fine. Although I am a person who will just jump around the palette and use whatever the hell I feel like. But you know, for those who had difficulty with hers, maybe look at like the top 6 as they look on their own, and then like the bottom 6 as look at their own, and then maybe it'll be a little easier for you, whereas Annette just put it straight across in each row for you to do an eye look, and Tina did a little bit more of a sophisticated color story or arrangement of shades. But you can use code, I believe it's just Fancy Face, and get a discount on Tina's palette if you're interested in purchasing it. I personally love it and am so excited to have it in my collection. I haven't used it as much as I'd like to though, just because I have so many other things that I always find myself having to use, because I always have to try out something new. So let's get into a new brand that came into my collection. I believe it was this year I first bought these palettes. Now one of them did come out last year, but I bought it this year, so I'm counting this year along with the other one that came out. So this is Dionluvsmakeup Cosmetics. This is from M. Jones on Instagram. I don't think she has a YouTube, I'm quite sure. I always hear people talk about her Instagram page. So this is her brand. I believe it's supposed to be named after her sister who has passed away, unfortunately. So this is the Moth and the Moon, and this is what it looks like. The color story to me looks somewhat scattered a little bit, but I feel like if you look at it in quads, you'll be fine. So like, see, there's a quad of blue and purple. There's this kind of like peachy-ish quad, and then you have like the green and orange quad. So if you look at it in quads, you might be easier to, you know, understand and work with better. But the shimmers in here are amazing. The matte form in here is really nice, and I was glad to get my hands on it. It kept selling out, so it took me a little while to get my hands on it. That's why I had to wait till this year, because I'm telling y'all, it kept selling out, because the formulas are very nice on the palette. So the next one I have is the Gloomy Gardens palette. She has one palette out now called Dewdrops. I do not own that one at this point in time. I'll probably pick it up in the future. It's just, it was an all shimmer palette, and I'm not really big on all shimmer palettes, so I didn't feel the need to add it to my collection right away. But this one, yes, this is the first one I bought, and then I went ahead and got the Moth and the Moon when they came back, and they happened to be back in stock at the same time. So this is what it looks like. Again, this is more of like, I call it the Blend Bunny effect, where it's like you just look at a row and you're able to go down and do an eye look. So that's the way she set up the palette, and I think that's great for people who have difficulty looking at color stories, because you got your smoky palette, you got your more berry tone palette, you got your nice little orange tone and green, or I guess a turquoise, if you will, and then this is supposed to be more of the yellow and mustard green. So you can go down each row and just do an eye look, or again, you can do like me and just jump all over the palette, because I'm pretty sure I used like these 3 rows to make an eye look, and then I think I did like these 2 on their own on my personal time or whatnot. But I liked the quality of it. I think the shimmers are really nice. I think she did an excellent job with this palette, and I am more than happy to have it in my collection, thus it being in here. I love to see when YouTubers and Instagrammers and influencers have their own brand, because I'm like, I feel like since we test out so much of other people's stuff, it's easier for us to be like, well, we know what people like and what people don't like, and since we know people go on our recommendations, if we like it, people will be more susceptible and interested in buying it. So I love brands like that. Let's get us some one-off ones, because I have a couple of brands that just have like one-off palettes and that's it. So we'll start off with the Smoke Sessions 2 palette from Melt. Now I feel like everybody and their mama knew I was getting this palette, because I mean, hello, it's a purple palette, and it's me. If you did not know, I am a purple palette connoisseur. So when a purple palette drops, I need to have it. And check out this packaging out. Like, I feel like they really upgraded on the packaging with all these little extra doodads they've been adding to certain ones. But I'm like, I feel like they knew this was going to be a crowd pleaser and a winner, so they just went ahead and, you know, invested in the packaging. But this is what she looks like, honey. She's quite the stunner. I love a purple moment. I like all the different undertones of purple, because you get more like the wine tone purples, then you get like the bluish purple shades, but then you get some of like the mauve-ish purple shades, and there's a little bit of plum. So I feel like they did get a good variety of purples that they gave you. But at the end of the day, it is a monochromatic purple palette. So if you have like the ColourPop ones and other ones, you might not necessarily be interested in it. But I think the quality of this is nice. I think they did an excellent job with it. And again, Melt is one of those brands where you can pop out the shades and move them around. So if I ever need a purple anywhere else to take on vacation or something like that, and I want to take my Melt palettes, I know I can pop it out and move it around and make it work for me. So I was excited about it in that sense as well. I'm trying to figure out, did the Safari palette come out this year? I'm gonna have to look that up. From what's her name? I'm sorry, the Yucca palette from Natasha. I'm gonna have to see if that came out this year. I'm not 100% sure. Time goes so fast lately. Next, I got my Sigma Cool Neutrals palette. I feel like y'all should have known this was going to be in here too, because when I do like to do neutrals, which is not really a thing, I prefer like cool tone neutrals. I'm a cool tone queen. I'm not really into the warm tone shadows, so I was excited that they came out with this palette. However, I was a little disappointed that they put like warm tones in it, because I'm like, if you call it a cool neutrals, I shouldn't have this whole little warm section here. But the way Angelica Nikovic explained it, she said the owner said she was scared of just doing a full cool tone palette, so that's why you get like half warm tones and half cool tones. And I guess that's good for people who want to dabble in cool tones but don't want a full cool tone palette. You know, you have some warm shades that you can incorporate with the cool tones that'll work out for you better. But like for cool tone people like me, I'm like, this part right here, you could have left it out. It could have went somewhere else. It was fine. I didn't need it, but thank you. But thank you, I guess. I don't know, but I do like the quality of Sigma eyeshadows. I think they do a good job. I know some of you all unfortunately told me you didn't like them that much, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, because I feel like they have a really nice and solid formula with their products, and they do a great job when it comes to their neutrals. So I'm gonna go check on the Yucca palette and see if it came out this year or not, because I honestly don't remember, and then I will be right back to talk to you. I might have a new eye look. It depends on how long it takes me to check. I am a little hungry, so I might go eat something and then come back and, you know, just do a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, girl? Okay. New eye look, who this? New eye look, who this? So this is supposed to be an alternative to the Glam Light X Chucky palette, or the Good Guy palette. So I used the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay to come up with this eye look. But let's get back into the rest of these palettes. I got, excuse me, a few more one-off palettes that I want to talk about in this video. Now, some of them came out last year. One brand, this is the first time I've tried out this brand along with the other one, so I guess we'll just keep with that theme, since I've just talked to you all about the different room palettes that I had just tried for the first time. So this is the Wicked Widow Beauty The Resurrection palette. Now, I saw this when it came out in 2023 for their holiday collection, but I was like, I don't know, I haven't tried this brand, and then it sold out quick, because everything from this brand sells out quick, and now I see why. The formula in here is amazing. Like this yellow, it is so bright and pigmented and amazing. The shimmers in here are really nice on the lid. I like this one a million times better than I like the Glam Light X Kiss palette, because I bought it to compare to that one along with the Bella Beaute Bar one, and I feel like, I mean, yeah, along with the Bella Beaute Bar one, and the Bella Beaute Bar one and this one outperformed the Glam Light one. So I definitely recommend, if you want a palette like this, to either get the Bella Beaute Bar one or get this one. Now, I don't know when they're doing the restock on this one as far as like pre-orders, because I know they did pre-orders for this. I just don't know when they're gonna do pre-orders again, because I got mine on the first pre-order. They have done a second pre-order since then, so if you're interested in purchasing from this brand, I'll try to leave a link down below. I don't know if it's gonna be in stock at the time, but I will link it down below for you all to check out, because I was thoroughly impressed with the quality of this brand, and now I'm gonna be on the lookout when they drop stuff, and hopefully I can get my hands on some, and I don't have to do pre-order again, because the pre-order took quite a while. But they did say it was going to take like almost 2 months, so it took close to the almost 2 month point like they said. So it was pretty accurate. It's just, you know, how we are in this economy, in this world. We're very impatient and want things 20 minutes after we bought them. So that's why I was just kind of like, okay. So the next palette I have to talk about is the Blend Bunny Machina palette. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this palette. Y'all know I wasn't a fan of the Sickly Sweet palette. I didn't like the formula in there. That's like one of my least favorite Blend Bunny palettes. I like this one. The only thing is, this is just a good alternative to the what do you call it? The Juvia's Place Afro Galactic palette. I feel like is a good alternative to this palette. So if you have that palette, you don't necessarily need to get this one. However, this one is 20 bucks, and I do think for 20 bucks the quality here is amazing compared to the Juvia's Place one. However, if you had to buy it at a regular price, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. You can use my girl Karen Harris's code, which is KH Makeup, and you can get even more money off this palette. But as you can see, it's just a nice warm tone, cool tone situation. So if you cover this up, you get like more of like the warm tone situation, and then you cover this up, you get a nice cool tone mixture. This is the last palette the owner made with her dad prior to him dying of cancer. So I feel like this was a special project for her. However, since she has done so many rainbow palettes, I don't know if that's why the reception for it wasn't that well, and that's why it ended up discounting, because I'm telling you right now, when I checked, it was $20 for this palette. So I was thinking about buying one to put in the giveaway for the future when the holidays come. So I probably will, but if you're interested in getting it now, it is $20, and use code KH Makeup to get an additional discount. But I love the quality of this palette. I think it's nice, and I came up with two very nice eye looks to work with it. So it's that standard Blend Bunny formula that you're used to and quality that you like, and I feel like the shimmers in there are better than some of the shimmers in the past. So I feel like she's been working on the shimmer formula since she knows she doesn't really need to work on her matte formula that everyone loves it. Next, I have the Pretty in Pastels palette from Adept Cosmetics. Now this was a limited edition one, so you can't get it anymore, unfortunately. Last time I checked their website, it was on clearance as well, so you might be able to grab it on clearance. I'm not sure. I know they just came out with some quads, and I think they might have came out with some singles, don't quote me, but I am very impressed with this palette. First of all, because it's a pastel palette that has deeper tones in it in order for me to put on the outer V. Like, I know pastels are supposed to be lighter, but it's like nice to have that option and not have to dip into another palette. Excuse me, because I'm a person who loves pastels, but my skin tone doesn't always agree with them. So the fact that I got this outer V one, then you got some more mid-tone pastels, then you have the traditional like lighter white pastels, is definitely very helpful for me. So even if I can't use these two rows, I can use these, and maybe I can use like this row as my inner corner, and then use the shimmers all over the lid. So I really like the way this pastel palette is set up. That the uniqueness of it is definitely what makes it a winner for me. So if you're interested in it, you might be able to grab it on clearance on their website. Last time I checked, it was on sale for $31. And of course, again, you can use my girl Who, Karen Harris's code KH Makeup to get a discount on this palette if it's still available. Okay, y'all, hold on. I think I might have left another palette somewhere, so I'll be right back. I might come back with a different eye look, girl, because I still got other videos to film and need to do stuff in between, but I'll be right back. Okay, girl? Okay. Sorry, y'all, I had one runoff palette that I had stuck between some other palettes because it looks similar to another one, so that's how it got grouped there. But I have the Cyborg Choir from Adept Cosmetics. Y'all know this was going to be in here. I love Adept palettes so much, and I love the color story of this. It looks really similar to the color story of the palette I'm going to show next. So this is what she looks like. This is what we're working with. Absolutely stunning, gorgeous color story. I feel like this will pair really nicely with the new palette they just came out with as well, called The Legend of Ardra. I believe that's how you say it. But I feel like this will pair very nicely with that one because they have some grungier tones, and that has a lot of brighter tones, and this can be the grungy one to go with the brighter tones. So I'm excited to pair this with that one, and I think this is a stunning palette. It's one of my favorites of this year for sure. Oh, I forgot to say, new eyes, who this, new eyes, who this. No. So I ended up doing a third look of my 4 palettes as to why you don't need. This is the look for the Moon Witch palette from Ulta. I'm saving using Angie's little ghost palette with that one once I get the palette. But if you're curious about this eye look and the other ones that you saw throughout this video, then I'll have the thumbnail over here, hopefully, of the 4 palettes that you'll be getting from that coming in the future. So you should get that one before you get this one. Anyway, on to the last 2 brands I have to talk about. So next is Nomad Cosmetics. So y'all know I had to get this New Zealand Stargazer palette. So when I first saw this palette, it didn't dawn to me that it was similar to the Cyborg Choir from Adept Cosmetics. So shout out to my girl Dionluvsmakeup. She mentioned it to me. I told y'all Dion be on them dupes too. She be trying to act like it's all me. Like, no, I be going to her and asking her for help sometimes too. So shout out to Dion for letting me know that this was a dupe. I did do an eye look with this one, comparing it to the Cyborg Choir, so hopefully that video was up before this one. I make no promises, but just keep a lookout for it. If it's not, if it is up, y'all know the drill. There'll be a thumbnail over here somewhere. But I love the color story of this palette. I think it's absolutely stunning. I feel like it gives a unique element to the palettes that they've done in the past, and I was here for it. I like that they started doing dual chromes and multi chromes like everyone else, and I'm really loving that aspect of this palette as well, because every shade in here shifts. So I love when they do those types of shades, just like with the Royal Europe palette when they first did all of those shades. So the quality of this one is nice. The only thing is sometimes I feel like the shimmers from them can be hit and miss depending on which palette you have. So that's my only gripe with Nomad. Sometimes the shimmers are amazing, sometimes they press too hard, and you know, I'm glad that this isn't one that was pressed too hard, because it's such a beautiful color story to have to be worrying about your shimmers. Next, this is a palette I got from Nomad and PR. This is the Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. So it's, since it's from Ireland, of course it's gonna have lots of greens in it, but I feel like they did a very good job of picking the greens that they chose. It does give a lot of a monochromatic feel, but they did give you some other things, like you can make a nice neutral moment, you can make a nice little blue situation. So I feel like they give you more than just like lots of greens. However, if you do love the color green, I feel like this would definitely be a palette for you. Like my girl Karen Harris loves the color green. And if you need to pick up anything from Nomad Cosmetics, we all know which code we use in this household. It is code Dion. So you use code Dion when you go to Nomad's website to get a discount on these lovely Nomad palettes. But I must say, I was happy with the quality of this one and the shimmers in it as well. I tell y'all, like I said, because I feel like some of their shimmers are hit and miss, I like the fact that the shimmers in both the palettes that they came out this year were good. Now I haven't tried the latest one that they came out with. I gave y'all a why you don't need on that one as well. Again, I'll try to link that over there. But yeah, I am definitely into Nomad Cosmetics, and those were 2 great releases that came out from them. I'm waiting to see what their holiday release is going to be like. I know for Halloween they said they're going to re-release, I think it's supposed to be Haunted Europe, and I don't know if the Ghost Town's going to come back this year as well. I think Dion told me it was, because remember Dion used to get PR from the brand. So there you go. But the last 2 palettes I have to talk about are from Beaute Bar. Now, I do realize that this palette did not come out this year. However, I bought it this year because I was going to buy it last year. I was waiting on them to have a sale during the holidays, and then they didn't have a sale on this palette, and then I felt some type of way. So then when it went up for pre-order, I just went ahead and grabbed it. If you all remember, that's why the D'Angelo Nicole palette came late. So I have 3 palettes to talk about from them because I got to talk about the D'Angelo Nicole palette. A Support Assist, and then we got a green. It's a blue, it's a purple color story all together. But yeah, this one I saw the color story and I just knew. But the funny thing about it is, shout out to Batty Bean. I know she probably isn't watching this and doesn't realize, but she gave me the idea of doing a old school versus new school with this one, because she said this was a fun version of Manny's Moonspell palette. As soon as she said it, I was like, I see it. It's like I didn't think about it before, but as soon as she said it, it was like a light bulb just went off. Click. So I do get inspiration from other people, but y'all know me, I'm going to shout out whoever I got the inspiration from. I do have a link with Beaute Bar if you're interested in purchasing anything. It's down below. I need to pick up the De-Influence palette. It does cost more now though, because you can actually take the shadows out, but I like the fact you can take the shadows out, because y'all know me, I mix and move around everything. I'm here for it. It's a vibe. I love it. So I'm personally happy that they're starting to do that. I know some people aren't though, because it makes the price of the palette go up because they have to pay for all the magnetic stuff. So that's just something to keep in mind. You might want to look for the old one on Mercari if you don't care about, you know, having it that price, and you can find it at a reasonable price, because people on Mercari be going crazy. But back to this, I love the color story of this. I think it's stunning. It definitely is a fun version of the Moonspell palette from Lunar Beauty, and since Manny said he wasn't bringing it back after the first time and he didn't, that would be a good alternative for you. Just keep in mind, if you're more into more of those muted colors, you might not like it as much because it's not going to be as, you know, fun or whatever. Next, we have the D'Angelo Nicole and Beaute Bar Ultraviolet palette. So y'all know I live for a purple moment, so I was happy to come across this purple palette in my collection. However, I feel like because I am a purple palette connoisseur, I already have a lot of these tones. I think it was only like, what was in here that was unique to me? I think it was the shimmers in here that were unique to me, because they had different shifts and undertones that other purple palettes I have don't. But a lot of like the other purples in here are the same, like those wine tone purples and the shades of purple. I have a lot of those in like the wine palette from Glam Light, or in the Lilac You a Lot, or the It's My Pleasure. So I have a lot of these similar purples, but the formula is what makes this nice, along with the unique shimmers shifts in it. So that's why I wanted to include it in here. Plus, this is a purple palette I definitely see myself reaching for more than the other ones I just named, because it was curated by a black creator and it holds a special place in my heart for that reason alone. So I had to mention it because it's a stunning palette. So the last one I have to talk about, of course, is the Secret Garden. To me, this is a giant version of Angie's palette. So since Angie's palette isn't out anymore, if you want to get a similar tone, then you can definitely get her, get this. The only thing is this is much bigger, obviously, but excuse me, it has a lot of the same tones Angie has. It has those pinks. It has a little bit of neutral. It has the greens. The only difference is this palette has blues in it, and Angie's palette didn't have blues. So if anything, you're getting extra tones in here because there are blues in here for you to try out. And like I said, I do have a link down below if you're interested in grabbing any of these things. You can go ahead and click it, girl, and get you a cute little thing from Beaute Bar, because I personally love the quality of their shadows and a lot of the color stories they come out with. So I am happy to have this in my collection along with all the other things we talked about today. So comment down below and tell me what palettes you got. I know, right, me not having a million palettes to talk about is crazy, but it's like, it was I feel like I tried a lot, but it was like a few that just like sparked joy in me immediately, and I was like, I'll, you know, touch on those. So those are the ones I really want to touch on, especially because I gave y'all an almost hour-long video with all the complexion and whatnot. I was like, I'll make this one a little bit shorter and tone it down a little bit, because I haven't been as crazy about palettes as I have about fragrance and makeup this year. As weird as that is, I know. Who am I don't know either. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. Make sure you subscribe. My membership is down below if you're interested, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl.